Okay, so we are recording now. Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much. Okay. Can you check if camera is probably pointed? Yep. See from there?
No.
So tilt it a little bit. I can't. There's no room here. I cannot be so close to the microphone. Welcome, everyone, to our second outdoor candle lighting for Hanukah. It's a wonderful thing to be together. It's a wonderful thing to celebrate Hanukah. And we begin with the Hanukah candles. So we'll get one of these. Somebody would like to pass them, please? Or we'll pass them. Very good. We pass the song sheet so we can sing the songs and did the brachot. Okay, so should we go to light candles? So I'll do the brachas and then. Very good. Let's do the shamash. I'll light the shamash and then we will call the people for the lighting on the menorah. Yeah. Okay. If you want to rise, everybody, for the brachot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. הנרות הללו אנחנו מדליקים, הנרות הללו אנחנו מדליקים על הניסים ועל הנפלאות ועל הגבורות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו, שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם, בימים ההם, בימים ההם בזמן הזה. We begin with the song. מעוז ישועתי לך נאה לשבח תיכון בתפילתי ושם תודה נזבח ותכין מטבח מבשר המנבח אז אמור ושיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח אז אמור ושיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח. Rock of ages laid our song, praise thy saving power. Thou amidst the raging throng wast our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but thine arm availed us, and thy word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and thy word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. ימי החנוכה, חנוכת מקדשנו, תגילו בשמחה ממלאים את ליבנו, לילה ויום סביבוננו ניסוב, שוב גניות נאכל מרוב, הדליקו העירו, נרות חנוכה רבים, על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר חוללו המכבים. על הניסים ועל הנפלאות אשר חוללו המכבים. אוי חנוכה, איין תבשיינר, אלוסטיקר אפריילך אבניתו, נחזוינר, alle Nacht mit Dreilach spielen wir, zu die Geißelatkes, es Unashir Geschwinder, sind Kinder, der Chanukah Licht lechon, sollen alle Nissim und danke für die Nissim und kam alle tanzen in Korn. Sollen alle Nissim und danke für die Nissim und kam alle tanzen in Korn. Oh Hanukah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather around the table, we'll give you a treat. Shiny tops to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Hanukah, חג יפה כל כך, אור חביב מסביב גילה ילד רך. Hanukah, סביבון סוף סוף, סוף, מה נעים בטוב. סוף, מה נעים בטוב. We may be seated now, please. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות, על המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות, ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. Hanukah linda está aquí. 8 candelas para mí. Hanukah linda está aquí. 8 candelas para mí. Everybody. 1 candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelicas para mí. Muchas fiestas vou fazer, con alegrías y placer. Muchas fiestas vou fazer, con alegrías y placer. Everybody, 1 candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelicas para mí. Yole! Wonderful. Happy Hanukkah. Now we have a quiz or a game that is going to be the next step. And then some Hanukkah stories. Happy Hanukkah. Let's just pass this out. I just want to explain how this is going to work. If you get all of the answers correct, you get a jelly donut.
Yay!
If you miss 1 or 2 answers, you get a jelly donut. And if you don't get any of the answers, no, you still get a jelly donut.
You think you can do this, or you want to cheat?
Rabbi Stern, Baruch haba, we're so happy to have you with us. Thanks for coming. Okay, let's see, test your Hanukkah knowledge. On what date does Hanukkah begin?
It changes every year.
Yeah, sometimes it's early, sometimes it's late. Correct answer is B, the 25th of Kislev. What was the family name of the Maccabean heroes? Was it Hashemites, Pharisees,
Goldbergs or Hasmoneans?
But only the Maccabees from Jordan.
It was the Goldbergs and they turned it into a TV show. No. No, Judah Goldberg? No?
Hasmonean.
Okay, D, Hasmoneans. In what city did the Hasmoneans live, in the Maccabees? In Jerusalem, in Modi'in, in Sfat, or in Baclaris?
Atlantic Beach.
Okay, Modi'in. Modi'in. And most of you know that Modi'in, which had all but disappeared, has been recreated as a modern, thriving city. It was a community by design in Israel today. It's located halfway between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. And many people like to live there because of that halfway mark. So wherever they work, it's easy to get to Tel Aviv, it's easy to get to Jerusalem. And it's an amazing, thriving community today.
Is that where they got Kyle and Modi'in? Yes, I thought.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, he's in-
Who was the head of the Hasmonean family? Matityahu, Ruvain, or Rabbi Akiva?
Snoop Dogg.
Or Yay, Kanye. Hey, Matityahu. Matisyahu. Well, some people call him Matisyahu, but Matisyahu is a rock singer, or I don't know what he is these days. He's gone through a few different transformations. Yes. Okay. Why do we celebrate the holiday for 8 days? A, because there were 8 candles on the menorah. B, because a week didn't seem long enough. C, because the first Hanukkah was a delayed celebration of Sukkot. Or D, because the first Hanukkah was considered to be Pesach Sheni. C. C. Hanukkah was actually, because it was just a little more than a month after Sukkot, and they did not celebrate Sukkot that year because the temple was under siege, the city was under siege, the temple had been destroyed. When, as one story goes, once the temple was restored, they said, you know, it's not so long, we never got to celebrate Sukkot, let's celebrate Sukkot now, delayed Sukkot. And that's at least one of the reasons or understandings of why we have 8 days. Okay, which blessing is said only on the first night of Hanukkah? D, Shechianu. 7, the custom of lighting 1 candle on the first night and going up to 8 on the last night was established by which great rabbi? Hillel, Shammai, Rabbi Akiva, or Rabbi Sandro?
Rabbi Stern.
Rabbi Stern, E. Okay, it was Hillel, Beit Hillel, the followers, Rabbi Hillel himself and followers. It's a very important concept because as we tell the story, it probably makes more sense to light all 8 candles. If the oil diminished, you would go from 8 down to 1 until that last one goes out. But Hillel understood, and that was Shammai's understanding, that it goes down. But Hillel was wise and knew that it would be very anticlimactic for the lights to descend and go out. And he established what we know today to be the principle of Ma'alim Bakodesh. We always go up in holiness. We elevate, we rise up, we bring it to a peak. And therefore Hillel said, no, we're going to start with 1 and work our way up into all 8 so that on the final night of Hanukkah, the menorah is ablaze, and it's beautiful and it's exciting. And we end the holiday on a high note. So that was Hillel's teaching and ruling. The mitzvah of Hanukkah is lighting the menorah, something called Pirsum Hanes, publicizing the miracle, eating latkes, or playing dreidel. And I believe you talked about that on
Mentioned it.
B, Pirsum Hanes. That's why so many people place the Hanukah in their window. It's not to compete with Christmas decorations, but it's to fulfill the mitzvah of sharing the light, showing the light, publicizing the miracle for all to see. So it is a wonderful custom to put the Hanukah in your window. We can argue about which side you light it from, but that's all.
Oh,
Right. Number 9, why don't we say Musaf on Hanukkah except on Shabbat? A, the service is long enough already. B, well, that would apply to Shabbat also. B, it would be a burden on the community to say Musaf for 8 days in a row. C, Hanukkah is not a biblically ordained festival, so no additional offering was brought to the temple. And D, we say Ma'oz Tzur instead.
in Argentina, they say no. In Argentina, they say no.
C is correct. Hanukkah is not a biblically ordained festival. It does not appear in the Torah. We are not commanded in that way to celebrate Hanukkah. Therefore, we do not add Musaf to the service. Number 10, what prayer is added to both the Amida and Birkat Hamazon during Hanukkah? Ya'alev Yavo, Hallel, Zachareinu L'chaim, or Al Hanisim?
Oh, Al Hanisim.
Oh, what do you say?
Oh, Al Hanisim v'Al HaPorkan v'Al HaGvuot Sha'asita L'Avotenu B'Yamim Ha'ein B'Zman Hazeh.
You should be a gabbai. Correct. Al Hanisi means for all the miracles. And this is a miracle. Al Hanisi, all the miracles that you brought forth for our people. It is said during Hanukkah. Trick question. What other holiday is it said on? Purim. Also not a biblically ordained holiday, but on those 2 holidays when the Jews were saved, when we were redeemed, we rededicated the temple, we say Al Hanisim, slightly different version for Purim than for Hanukkah because it includes a little bit of the story.
And we in the conservative movement also say Yom Ha'atzmaut. And some do it also in Yom Yerushalayim, Day of Jerusalem as well.
Wow, you want to be a rabbi.
Okay, number 11, the theme of Hanukkah that is expressed in today's special Haftarah, or Saturday's special Haftarah, which will be recited by A, Al Shlosha Devarim, the world stands on 3 things. B, if you will it, it is not a dream. C, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. And D, the Lord brought us out of Egypt with an outstretched arm. It's a tough one. B? C, the Haftarah ends with the words, not by might, lo v'chaya, lo v'choach, ki'im baruchi amar Hashem. Not by might, not by power, but with my spirit, saith the Lord your God.
And that's your Haftarah, right?
That's our Haftarah. It's our Haftarah. If you like it, you can come here, Anna and I perform this Shabbat. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, we are
Big Shabbat. Okay, number 12. Traditional foods for Hanukkah are latkes and sholem,
Facebook too.
sufganiyot and ice cream, latkes and sufganiyot, chopped liver and simas, E, all of the above.
No, it was not good. No, it's okay.
Now the C, we get too many C's away here. C, latkes and sufganiyot. Sufganiyot, of course,
I don't know how to do
donuts,
it.
particularly jelly donuts. And not like Entenmann donuts, like Dunkin' Donuts, the ones that are fried, made with oil. So any food that was made with oil, we had good French fries yesterday. Okay, and the bonus question. What letters appear on dreidels in Israel? Nun Gimel Hey Shin, Nun Gimel Hey Taf, Nun Gimel Hey Pei, Yud Hey Vav Hey. You can't just answer, you have to tell me why. Okay, C. Nun Gimel Hey Pei, Nes Gadol Haya Po. Here on our dreidel it says Nes Gadol Haya Sham over there, but in Israel, Nes Gadol Haya Po. A great miracle happened here. And I'll just end by saying Nes Gadol Haya Po, because we are all together and we're healthy and sustained and celebrating Hanukkah again together. And it's wonderful to have you all here and be together to celebrate Nes Gadol Haya Po. Rabbi?
Thank you very, very much. Alex, correct us not anything on you. May he rest in peace. Happy Hanukkah. Now, something quite interesting. I would like to share something that I think Phil, actually sent me a link for a video from an Orthodox rabbi that speaks about the book of Halacha called Ilchot Asufganim, the laws of the Sufganim. I will explain what that means. Let me first ask you, what is the traditional Hanukkah food for us? What is the traditional Hanukkah food? Latkes. Anybody? Latkes, everybody? Everybody agrees? Latkes are relatively late. And that's one of the things that this rabbi explained. The latkes are relatively late. The traditional, the most original food in our Jewish tradition for Hanukkah is the Sufganim. Sufganim. In modern Hebrew, we call them Sufganiyot, the donuts. But in older Hebrew, in the first sources that the term appears Sufganim. Now, anybody can tell me an idea from what time is the first source that refers to eating of donuts in Hanukkah? In wild guess. It's not from the time of the Maccabees, which is the 1st century before the Common Era. Not from the time of the Talmud, around the 5th century of the Common Era. The first reference to the eating of donuts in Hanukkah appears in the 12th century. 12th century, and the person who mentions is the father of a very well-renowned scholar and authority in Jewish law and Jewish tradition, which is the father of the Rambam, the father of Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, whose name was Maimon. That's why Rambam was Maimonides. He was the son of Maimon. So Maimon, the father of Rambam, writes, and he mentions the use of Sufganim. Sufganim was the term that they used. Now, why Sufganim? What is the source of the word Sufganim that eventually in modern Hebrew was refloated and recuperated and used as Sufganim? The term, it comes from the Latin word for the word sponge. A sponge. The words G and N, the letters G and N, Gimel and Nun, are often transposed in different languages. NG, GN, very common transposition. Turn them upside down one way or another. So the original was from the Latin sponge, sponga, sponja, and the Sufganiot were this round, fluffy, spongy concoctions that were fried in oil. So that's the origin, from sponge to Sufgan to Sufganim, and then to Sufganiot. Then we see that there's a change of gender from Sufganim to Sufganiot. So being transgender It's not something modern. Also, this the changes of gender, the appearance in the Sufganyon. The poor donuts seem to have some kind of transformation along the road. Oh, that's okay. They are still delicious. So, very interesting details about the Sufganyon. Well, there's a ton of Sufganyon. This book that this rabbi wrote about the history of the Sufganyon, about donuts, is like 400 pages long. And that comes to 400 pages about the history and the halacha of the Sufganyon, of the donuts. And that proves the idea that one of the great teachers of the JTS, Rabbi Stern, of course, was one of his students. Shaul Lieberman used to say that nonsense is nonsense, but the study of nonsense is great scholarship, right? That's one of the sayings by Shaul Lieberman, one of the teachers of the seminary. So, donuts, sorry? He said it about Gershon Sholem. Okay, yeah, but mysticism. Oh, it's study of mysticism, right? Was a reference to the study of mysticism, namely that the mystical aspects that may be a little bit obscure and not very rational or not very serious in terms of their application, the study of those phenomena is a very serious scholarship, but also appears can be applied to the delicious donuts that you can write a book of 400 pages about the history and development of the halacha of donuts. Now, so some interesting rules about donuts that this rabbi writes about. One is they should not supposed to be dairy. Also, they are supposed to not have holes. Holy donuts are unholy. According to the tradition, it has to be, it's an American thing, it's not supposed to be, it has to be very fluffy, very soft, and have, and this, the Kabbalists, the Kabbalah, we were talking a moment about Kabbalah, say that they must have a filling. That's why jelly donuts are very popular, because it's like the Torah that has something that appears immediately to the eye, but also has a hidden treasure, a hidden sweetness that comes upon us as we enjoy it and learn it and nourish ourselves with it. So very interesting stuff about donuts that we may not have known. Now let's put the mitzvah into practice. Why not to have our donuts and eat them too? Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Thanks, Sameach.
So since everyone got at least one of the answers right, you are all invited to have jelly donuts and gelt and hot apple cider. Chag Sameach, everyone. Thanks everyone for coming. But we're glad you're here. We thought we would have more people here, so you got to eat a lot of jelly donuts.
Or take some home. Oh yeah, there, the monster is there already. The donut monster, the Sufganiyah monster. Okay, everybody. So I hope we enjoyed our transmission of our outdoor celebration. I'll keep the camera rolling if you want. Stay as long as you wish. Have a wonderful Hanukkah, everybody at home. Shalom.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay. Happy Hanukkah. Yeah, take. Yeah, I know, but I figured you were so you're not gonna go. Okay, I tried to hold you only. Wait, see? Yes. You'll see maybe. I got it. Okay. Yeah.
How are you? Yesterday for 2 hours.
Michigan on his line. Let's leave it at that. Michigan has the top one on his line. You know what? The 4 years go very quick. That's it. You know, it's a flip on the screen. You only can go to one college at a time.
Tomorrow morning, join us at 7 a.m. Good night.